Captain Sarah Chen scratched her head as she watched the delegation of Zephyrian priests prostrate themselves before her workstation. Their crystalline bodies chimed softly against the metal deck plating of the research vessel Prometheus, creating an almost musical harmony that would have been pleasant if not for the circumstances. "I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" Sarah asked, setting down her steaming mug carefully on the console. The dark liquid inside sloshed gently, releasing the rich aroma of earth-grown coffee beans into the recycled air. High Priest Velthara raised his translucent head, his optical organs pulsing with what Sarah had learned indicated extreme reverence among his species. "Human Chen, you hold the sacred chalice of eternal wisdom, the artifact our people have sought for 7 millennia across the galaxy." Sarah glanced down at her coffee mug, a simple ceramic piece she'd picked up from a souvenir shop on Mars Station. It bore the faded logo of the Luna City Diner and had a small chip on the handle from when she'd dropped it during a meteor shower last month. "This old thing?" The assembled Zephyrians gasped in unison, their forms brightening with shock. Velthara's optical organs dimmed to barely perceptible pinpricks. "Old thing?" "Human, that vessel contains the essence of creation itself. It was crafted by the first builders when the universe was young." Dr. Marcus Webb, the ship's xenoarchaeologist, leaned forward from his station. "Captain, perhaps we should hear them out. The Zephyrians aren't typically given to flights of fancy." Sarah picked up the mug again, examining it more closely. To her, it looked exactly like what it was, a mass-produced piece of pottery with questionable aesthetic choices. The blue and yellow color scheme had seemed cheerful when she'd bought it, but now she wondered if there was something she'd missed. "According to our most sacred texts," Velthara continued, his voice trembling with emotion, "the chalice was created to contain the first thoughts of consciousness itself. It holds the power to grant infinite wisdom to those worthy enough to drink from it." "Infinite wisdom?" Sarah raised an eyebrow. "I've been drinking coffee from this thing for 3 years. The only wisdom it's given me is that replicated coffee tastes terrible, and you should always check the caffeine content before pulling an all-nighter." The youngest priest in the delegation, barely more than a sapphire-colored wisp, spoke up. "But Human Chen, surely you have noticed changes in yourself. Enhanced cognitive abilities? Deeper understanding of the universe's mysteries?" Sarah considered this seriously. She had been promoted to captain at an unusually young age, and her mission success rate was admittedly impressive. She'd solved the Kepler Station crisis, negotiated the peace treaty with the Vorthon Empire, and discovered 3 new habitable worlds. But she'd always attributed that to good training and better coffee. "Well," she said slowly, "I suppose I have been having some pretty good ideas lately." The Zephyrians collectively held their breath, which was impressive considering they didn't technically breathe. "But I'm pretty sure that's just the caffeine," Sarah concluded. Dr. Webb activated his scanner and aimed it at the mug. The device immediately began beeping frantically. "Captain, you might want to look at this. The molecular structure is unusual. These readings suggest the ceramic contains trace amounts of materials that shouldn't exist according to our periodic table." Sarah frowned. "Are you saying this really is some kind of ancient artifact?" "The quantum signatures are definitely pre-galactic civilization," Webb confirmed. "But how it ended up in a souvenir shop on Mars is beyond me." Velthara's optical organs blazed with sudden intensity. "The chalice chooses its bearer. It called to you, Human Chen, across the vast emptiness of space. Or," Sarah said pragmatically, "I needed a new coffee mug and this one was on sale." The Zephyrian delegation exchanged what might have been meaningful looks, though it was hard to tell with their crystalline features. Finally, Velthara approached slowly, his form radiating reverence. "Human Chen, we have traveled for generations seeking the sacred chalice. Our people believe that the one who possesses it will lead us to a new age of enlightenment. We humbly request that you accept your role as the chosen vessel." Sarah took a long sip of her coffee, considering. The liquid did taste remarkably good today, smoother than usual with a complexity she hadn't noticed before. Maybe there was something to this whole ancient artifact thing. "Look," she said finally, "I appreciate the offer, but I'm not really the messiah type. I'm a starship captain. I explore space, catalog new species, and try not to start any interstellar wars. But I'll tell you what, if this mug really does have some kind of wisdom-granting properties, maybe we can figure out how to share that with everyone." She held up the mug, studying its unremarkable surface. Dr. Webb, start a full analysis. If there's something special about the molecular structure, maybe we can synthesize it. Create cups for anyone who wants them. The Zephyrians looked scandalized. You cannot simply manufacture the sacred chalice. Velthara protested. Why not? Sarah shrugged. Where I come from, we believe good things should be shared. If this thing really does make people wiser, then wisdom shouldn't be hoarded by one person or one species. She took another sip and smiled. Besides, everyone deserves a really good cup of coffee. The delegation fell silent, processing this revolutionary concept. Finally, the youngest priest spoke up again. Perhaps this is the wisdom the chalice offers, not to seek enlightenment for oneself, but to bring it to all. Sarah nodded approvingly. Now you're getting it. Webb, set up a collaborative research project with our Zephyrian friends here. Let's see if we can crack the secret of the universe's best coffee mug. As the delegation began chattering excitedly among themselves, Sarah settled back in her captain's chair, cradling her mug. Maybe she was the chosen one, or maybe she'd just stumbled across the galaxy's most expensive piece of dinnerware. Either way, she reflected, it made excellent coffee. And really, wasn't that wisdom enough?